Ladies and gentlemen, pay attention. This is your boy, the coach from the WWE. I would like to welcome you to the very first wrestling podcast in the world to take you on a weekly deep dive into classic matches along with legends of the squared circle. Enjoy the discussion. Enjoy the back and forth. There's so much to get into. Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Payoff.
Welcome to an all-new episode of The Payoff. I'm Tom. That's Jeff. We're going back to 1999 for Halftime Heat. Mankind, The Rock. I think The Rock's going to be a future Hall of Famer.
I feel like I've heard of this guy before. So
yeah, I think he over the last few years has been able to add enough to his resume to become a WWE Hall of Famer someday.
Proven himself, yeah, for sure.
I don't know if I've mentioned this to you before or not. I like The Rock. Okay, I don't dislike The Rock. I think he is one of the most overrated performers in the history of the WWE.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's a hot take. Yeah. All right.
I just, and what I mean by that is I don't think he's in the Stone Cold Hulk Hogan area for me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. I don't think he's Shawn Michaels. So I don't think he's the Undertaker. So again, I have him like, I'll take Brock's career over Rock. So I have The Rock in the top 10. When I see Mount Rushmore, greatest ever, I just find him to be overrated. I think some of his promos are a little goofy. I don't think his in-ring work is among the top ever. I don't think he has a ton of like great all-time matches. So again, he's incredible, but I don't have him in that category. Do you?
I don't like. It's weird because I don't. He's at least not on my Rushmore because I feel like there is a lot of wrestlers that you think of first. Is he one of the best ever? Sure. Absolutely. But is he on my kind of Rushmore of them? I don't think so. Like it's just, there's others that have done more. I feel like there is too much, as much as you don't necessarily want to do this, but you have to look at the backstage stuff a little bit too much and some of the rumors that always circulate about that. Is it some of the best storytelling we've had in a long time? Yeah, sure. But you got to look at, there's more than just The Rock in that story. Like you can't just point to him as the reason that this is going well. So I definitely interesting though, for sure.
And I think that's part of my thing with him too, is I listen to The Rock on podcasts. I listen to him during interviews. Yeah. I just don't know if I trust the guy or not. I
makes sense.
Part of me thinks he's completely full of shit. Like, I just don't know if anything he does is genuine and authentic. And I don't know. I don't know the guy. There's just something about him where I'm like, Steve Austin is who he is. Okay. There's no debate, right? He just is who he is. Shawn Michaels is who he is at this point in his life. Okay. Rock, I don't know. Hulk Hogan, I don't know what to believe and not believe. Right. So I kind of put them in the same category where I'm like, I just don't know when you're being worked, when it's true, when what they say they believe is true, but it's not true. Like, I don't think The Rock's a straight shooter. I could be wrong. But I think he's just a politician, and I don't think he's like a bad person. I don't think he's what he portrays himself to be.
I think he likes portraying the character. He does not want to be Dwayne Johnson. He wants to be The Rock. Like, that it is just, it's very unusual. That's the only way to look at it. Yep.
in the every kind gesture he does has a camera over his shoulder thing. It just gets old, man. I'm just like, just you want to give someone a truck, give them a truck. You want to buy your mom a car, buy her a car. You don't need a fucking film crew and all this stuff. That's why it's just so forced to me. So,
well,
anyways.
and the people's champ walking around with that, always good too.
Yeah. And again, I know some of it's a heel character in that, but anyways. All right. I'm excited for this one. Should be fun. Let's get into the build.
Ho! It's time for the build.
So unique because we're timing this match with halftime of the Super Bowl. And we don't know when halftime of the Super Bowl is. So we're airing matches, we're airing promo packages, we're kind of building our way to this. It's interesting, right? So we're not doing, I mean, we're kind of doing a traditional show, but we're timing it with this this other thing that's going on. So we've got some stuff that was filmed and then some things that are airing, and then we get to this show. And as you pointed out, which I was not aware of, the halftime heat match that we're covering was filmed at the convention center in Tucson.
Yes.
Which is so they didn't do the in the same arena as they did the halftime heat.
Yeah, and I was looking it up. It looks like it's like different. It's one of those like venues that's got multiple like things that are happening in it and stuff like that. Like there's different rooms or something like that. Is that right? Or
yeah, I mean it's a convention center, so it's not even like I mean I know they had
venue.
like I mean I know they had wrestling there, but obviously they have other shows or other events and stuff happening as well.
Yeah. Well, we're about to get a full tour of the arena as we're watching this one, so it should be good. Yeah.
We will. So couple matches on this show we had, and so the halftime heat was recorded. The other matches were recorded on January 26th at the American West Arena, which is where the Phoenix Suns still play. All right, so we have some matches there. We have a Jeff Jarrett Big Boss Man match. We have a Ken Shamrock Owen Hart match, and we have a bunch of video packages. And this is estimated that 6.6 million people watched this, which made it one of the most watched wrestling matches on cable TV at the time. Which begs the question, why did you never do this again? I mean, they did with NXT years later, but it's actually brilliant, right? You've got 1 trillion people watching the Super Bowl. Now with streaming, I'm surprised they wouldn't try to do this again now with like Netflix. So if Netflix doesn't have the Super Bowl, hey, we're going to air a wrestling match or concert during this. I mean, it's somewhat surprising that there's not more of this, and I'm surprised they haven't tried to do it again. I'd be curious on the story behind it. So, anyways, that's it, man. So we had like a kind of a general run-of-the-mill heat, and then boom, the minute the Super Bowl halftime hits, we jump into this empty arena match. I know these guys wrestled a ton of times. How did we get to this match at this time?
Yeah, so this was kind of unusual because, like you said, there was some storyline going on here, and to do it in the kind of the empty arena had not really been done like this before in any way. And so, like we said, it was this kind of 20-minute block that they had during, it would have been Super Bowl 33 in 1999. This special episode, the empty arena match, Rock and Mankind. A part of what this included too was that WWE had bought a Super Bowl ad during the show, or during the Super Bowl as well too, trying to kind of going in with their Attitude Era branding. And so the lead up to this one, you got to remember, Mankind actually lost the belt to The Rock in that I Quit match where just brutal, all the chair shots, all that different stuff, and the kind of recording that had happened as well too, the fake recording, if you will, saying that he had quit. It didn't really quit and all that. And so that Royal Rumble taking place like just so recent to this is, these guys had been feuding. They had, back and forth, a lot of different stuff, but that was kind of the catalyst for this one. And I think part of it was just to try something new that, we hadn't really seen before. When, they had this brutal match, and now we've got, that we can film, we can do whatever, we can, kind of mix it up a little bit here and have this. And so I think it's just, like I said, I have not watched this. Like, I know it's a thing, but I have not gone back and watched any of this anytime recently. So I think I'm just excited to check this one out, plain and simple. Yeah.
Me too. I really am. We'll check in on the sound a little bit to hear what it is. But yeah, I think this will be a really fun one. I'm excited to cover it. We're on Peacock. It's season 2, episode 5. It's the January 31st, 1999 episode of Heat. We're at the 29-minute mark. Jeff, are you ready?
I got it pulled up, man. Let's do this.
All right. It's time for the payoff.
Oh, it's time for the payoff.
What have you got?
Let's listen up. First time ever.
Come on. You get the first time.
This is WWF history in the making. An empty arena match for the first time ever. Rock and Mankind going at
it. Vince McMahon on commentary.
And Mankind,
yep, just
Mankind
Vince.
going for the first cover. And Rock, being the adroit champion that he is, quickly kicking out.
Cover him. Count him.
And another cover. And Rock able to kick out as well.
We have the traditional
the Rock
Raw
is
set.
The quintessential WWF champion. He's young, he's aggressive, he's corporate. Wait a minute, Mankind now putting on what he calls Mr.
Okay, so couple observations so far. I mean, they have obviously the seats set up. It's empty arena. They have the traditional Raw set. Vince on commentary. And I want to know, I'd love to know what the backstory is. I just wonder if he was like, hey, there's going to be a ton of people watching and I want this done right. Like, it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's going to be my guess. That seems to make the most sense. Yeah. So it's weird hearing them too. Like, to have an empty arena and have them be mic'd up the way, they're not mic'd up, but to have this, they're weird. You can see the camera guys, like the venue, like, is really tiny. No need for anything crazy special though. Yeah, like you said, Vince sitting solo at the announce table. It's just weird.
Oh, so he's by himself.
Oh, what kind of a challenger are you? What kind of a championship match is this? This is one The Rock should not have to be in.
You are next. That's your opponent. I'm going to tear up your man.
What do you mean I'm next?
Okay, so
What do you mean next?
The reasoning I'm finding for this is it was a familiar voice, so okay, there we go. Breaking the barrier. It's one of the first times I remember that happening. That's kind of cool.
Oh yeah, yep.
So Vince was there because he was involved in the Stone Cold thing. It was a familiar voice. He wanted to be hands-on and have it delivered right. It was a way to, add some extra intrigue. Okay.
I mean, that makes sense. It is, you figure, the biggest kind of show, if you will, that they've done under these circumstances. Oh, throwing Foley into the chairs out, and I say out in the crowd.
The Rock says one chair. This is a good time. How about The Rock says maybe even two? How's that feel, huh? You want this one, Robert? How about three?
Yeah, Rock, he's
Look at
finished.
that, huh?
Finish him off.
Think about that, man. How big tough guy, right? Big
Yeah,
tough
Vince
guy.
playing the heel on this one too, kind of on Rock's side as well.
I mean, I guess the idea here is we're not going to have fans that are here during the Super Bowl. We're not running a show. We don't want to pre-record it because then it's, obviously the results get out. So, I mean, I guess you don't have many options. You either have something like this or a cinematic match. And I don't know if a cinematic match is good for the masses. Like, I could see that being kind of weird. I mean, us fans, we like it, but I mean, you couldn't do the Bray Wyatt John Cena match and expect a wide audience.
Yeah, absolutely.
The great one,
So
the most electrifying man in sports entertainment today. If you smell what The Rock is cooking, now I'll tell you what mankind can do. What?
Okay, so all right.
Mankind attacking.
Rock
Yeah, so
doing some commentary. Empty arena matches.
yes.
First one ever.
Yep.
Jerry Lawler versus Terry Funk.
Okay. Got
April
it.
25th, 1981.
Interesting.
It was for Continental Wrestling Association. It was at the Mid-South Coliseum.
Interesting. Okay.
So Terry Funk says he doesn't want fans present. And it ended with him getting poked in the eye by a wooden object. So that was the first one. Then we had this match. Obviously, during the pandemic, we had a number of things that were kind of empty arena-ish. If you remember the Ciampa Gargano one.
That's six-way, yeah, of course. No, you're talking about that. They're just their match in the empty. Yes. Okay,
incredible. So that was April 8th of 2020. Mox and Omega did one on March 18th at Daly's Place.
Okay. Yep.
Obviously, all of WrestleMania 36 was quote unquote empty arena.
Yeah, I was thinking of the six-way, which it's interesting how many of those wrestlers are in AEW now, because you've got, that was Aleister Black, Ricochet, Velveteen Dream, who's long gone, and then Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano, and Ciampa. And so that was actually a really good match, if you remember. Yeah.
Yeah, we flipped over to it. I had a couple buddies that were in town for the Super Bowl all weekend, and I was like, "You guys want to watch this?" I remember sitting there and watching. It was pretty good.
Yep, absolutely. So we're now at the top of the stairs. We're kind of up on the concourse a little bit here. The Rock hitting Mankind with a trash can.
All over this arena and the concession stands. You name it.
How about a kick in the What?
Here we go. And not quite.
Jesus.
Right through the uprights. Bit of a bumpy road.
Man. Fully rolled. God, at this point, he's probably, 50 stairs down? Jesus.
Again, falls count anywhere.
God, that would hurt.
No holds barred. First time ever in the
And remember, too, just a couple weeks prior to this was that Royal Rumble match where he just he took the chair shot match where he took dozen chair shots, and now he's rolling downstairs. He's bumping into stuff. Like, Rock's about to hit him with just dumping trash on him at this point. There you go. Yep. And then, just cracking that trash can over him. Jesus.
So,
he's rolling down more stairs. God.
We're talking about, obviously, trying to get more mainstream viewers. Right. So someone that's a lapsed fan or doesn't watch it. Oh, so now we have commentary back in the heater.
Let's check this out. Little replay of just what happened.
So Shane and Kevin Kelly are like watching it. They're pretending that they're watching it live on Heat in the arena. Okay. So my theory is with Netflix and with a continued presence on YouTube and everything that they're doing, and obviously growing the brand internationally, I think these ticket prices are just going to continue to go up. Because the more people that are watching, the more people that want to, go to a show, the more these ticket prices are going to go up. I mean, it's pretty simple. I think it's just going to be insane. I mean, and we're already getting there, but I think it's just going to continue. If 20% more people watch WrestleMania on Netflix than Peacock a year from now.
Yep.
Right? I mean, assuming that that's what happens, assuming everything ends up on Netflix. But even if they're just watching Raw, I mean, because that's the thing too. You're going to have people that watch Raw on Netflix and are like, this is great. Oh, okay, so SmackDown's on USA. We'll start watching that. Oh, well, then there's pay-per-views. Oh, I need to go get Peacock. I actually think this will drive more Peacock subscriptions for $5 or $10 or whatever it is. And then these people are going to want to go to the show when they're in town. So ticket prices are only going up. That's my prediction. What do you think?
Well, I agree with you, especially about the live shows. I think the other interesting thing is what is going to be more appealing to the person that has not, maybe watched it, from the sidelines, or is like, hey, I have Netflix, I can watch this now. Or, hey, I have Max, it's part of my TV, I have it for stuff, I can do that. Are you more likely, if you have both, are you more likely to spend the $30 or $40 on an AEW pay-per-view, or like just flip over to Peacock and watch a premium live event that's included in your subscription? So I think right out of the gate, Rock's got a Jack Daniels bottle, is drinking straight from it. Got to be a salt bottle, maybe not. Oh, maybe that was a real bottle. I don't know. But, I think that the casual fan is not about to spend even $20, $30 on an AEW show where they don't really know what they're getting. But you can watch, at this point, like you can watch Royal Rumble for free. You can watch WrestleMania for free. You can watch, not free, it's your $5 or whatever it is. You can watch, Elimination Chamber is part of your subscription. And so you're able to do these things. And so, I agree with you. I think that the live ticket prices are going to go up, but also I think it's going to drive eyes to different places. Okay, so are we in catering now? I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. We're in like a big room in the convention center with some tables set up and some people sitting there.
The most unusual, the most unique WWF Championship match in history.
Too much salt.
These guys, I appreciate it. These guys are just kind of sitting around as Rock and Mankind are beating the hell out of each other. Yep. Oh, yeah, just making a mess backstage. So to your point, I think it's I'll be interested after. We have the initial numbers, but give me 6 months. Like give me till WrestleMania and then show me what the ratings numbers are. Show me where, like, what the trends have been. Like after a month, it doesn't mean anything, but give me a lot longer of, where we're at and show me how the numbers have gone up. Like, of course the first day or first week, it's going to be massive numbers because everybody's curious. And so, but I think, like we've always said, like, show me in 6 months, like, have they showed either sustained growth or, I think bringing new eyes to the product it's a different world when it comes to the ratings anymore. I don't know. Is he covered in tomato sauce? or cocktail sauce? Like Rock threw something all barbecue sauce? Yeah. Just all over him.
Never defend the WWF Championship in this manner. He was forced.
So I heard something interesting from Triple H recently, and I forget whose podcast he was on. But he said, we look at our wrestlers as having three characters. They have their on-screen character, they have their backstage character, and then they have their real life character. And I thought that was so interesting because, and that's something that didn't exist. Hulk Hogan, there was one character. It was on screen. Nobody, and that was a handful of people read Dave Meltzer's report, but like nobody knew what happened backstage, right? It didn't matter.
No.
And then the real life thing, there was no real life of Hulk Hogan. No one knew shit about him. They just saw him on, the Tonight Show, but he was playing the Hulk Hogan on-screen character when he was doing those. So he never left character. So
he was never Terry Bollea. Yeah.
Correct. Now he is. I mean, now, Seth Rollins has a kid and he lives in Iowa and he has a wrestling school and he's married to Becky Lynch and he kind of has a problem with CM Punk in real life and blah, blah, blah. Okay. So that's what's interesting. And so I think where it came up is, when you're looking for future stars, the NIL stuff, right? The going on the independents, you kind of have to look at someone and go, okay, what's their on-screen character? Oh, well, they play a villain and, they're really cocky. Oh, okay. So that's interesting. Backstage, what are they like? And then real life, what from their personal life can we get or not get? So it's just interesting to think about that, is that characters now are so much more multidimensional. And I would argue that fans demand to know that. So like,
yes,
you can't just be an on-screen character. Like, people are going to find out about your personal life and they're going to, evaluate that. And they're going to, then they want to know what you're like backstage and who gets along, who doesn't get along. Oh, Matt Riddle said something about Goldberg. Oh, well, now maybe we can make that a storyline. So like there's just, it's so much more complex, which probably can help, but it's also, you have to remember, and it's so important to do all that. One of the things that I think, and I haven't saw this anywhere, but I just kind of assume it, is I think we're going to get a lot more look at who these people are in real life through Netflix. You're going to get the Drive, whatever that F1 show is, or the PGA version of it. But like, you're going to get behind the scenes stuff. So now you're going to have Netflix showing these people in their real life going in. I mean, and I know they've done some of that before, but I think it's going to become more and more prevalent. So if I'm looking at who my stars are, you need to be great on camera, you need to be great in the ring, but you also need to be interesting off screen so that people gravitate towards you and want to buy your t-shirt and come to our events.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the whole promotion is just going to change. Like everything's going to change, plain and simple. And I think that, and you and I always enjoy kind of sharing the, what are the venues and kind of, where, the Netflix premiere, what was 15,000 or whatever it was, is that how much that venue holds? But AEW is down to 2,000-3,000 person venues because they just can't fill them in any other way. And so, yeah, and so that's just like, that's just crazy too. And I think, but like you said, like more and more people, or who was it? Reddit was saying how even when AEW debuted on Max, it wasn't even on the homepage. You had to like search for it to find it. So like, what are we doing here? Like, when WWE is just everywhere. So we're backstage now. We're getting like a weird kind of feed mode. There's a guy obviously trying to do his job here. He's got a forklift way up in the air with some kegs on it. You got Mankind and The Rock underneath it kind of fighting. It looks like he's got the mandible claw locked in. Yep. And he's we're getting close to the end here. So he's pulling The Rock under the forklift, making the driver, what's going to keep him out here? Yep.
He's saying, get out, please? What kind of a creep
It's nice that he's nice about it.
He says, please? What's he going to do now? He's going to run over him. Mankind's going to run over Rock. That's what he's going to do. Down! Yeah. No! No, that's going to crush the Rock.
Boy, that was terribly done, but man, that was funny. Yikes.
The Rock! No, don't pin him. No!
That's the Rock, bro. The Rock, you cheat. Stick down.
Mankind
Weird.
becomes a WWF champion. can't believe it.
Okay.
All right, there you go.
There you go. Yep.
Let's get into the aftermath.
Ho! It's time for the aftermath.
All right, what'd you think?
It was fun for what it was. You know, it wasn't anything to write home about. Like it was definitely interesting. Yeah, it was fine. It's what it was.
Here's my issue. I feel like all that did was just feed into stereotypes of wrestling being lowbrow, goofy, bullshit entertainment for people that live in their parents' basement.
That makes sense. Yep.
Like, nothing about that was athletic. Nothing about that was, I mean, I guess you didn't have many choices because you were, you couldn't record something and then do it and everyone would already know the results. So you had to do something without a crowd. So I don't know what else you do other than an empty arena match.
Yeah, I don't.
But I just, and that was your world title feud. So I don't know. I mean, what were you going to, you were building towards Stone Cold getting his title back. So you weren't going to do that then. I guess one observation is, wouldn't you have been better doing like an Austin versus McMahon match? Like Austin's your star. Austin's your biggest star. Austin's your Hulk Hogan. Austin's the guy that turned your business around. So, and I don't think he was hurt at the time.
Yeah,
he wasn't. I would have. Yeah. So that's what I would have done. I think that's my biggest takeaway is like I would have done Austin versus McMahon empty arena instead of Mankind Rock. Because we'd already seen this match. I don't think your casual viewer is going to be, I guess you couldn't have done Rock Austin because you were doing that for WrestleMania. I would have done something with Stone Cold. That's my big takeaway here.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Like you gotta, like I almost think you could have pre-recorded this or parts of it, and it would have worked out fine. Like, or done a little bit more cinematic with it. Like, I don't know. Like it just, and who do you pick? Like, was this the biggest storyline at the time? Especially like if you were, the internet wasn't as big as it is now, but if you're looking up, what have these guys done recently? First thing you're going to see is the chair shot match. And you're like, oh my God, like this is crazy. Like, I don't want to watch this every week. Like, this is brutal. Like, that's not what I want to do. So yeah, it's hard to say. And like, if you had done an Austin McMahon angle at this, like, does that not play as well because Vince owns it and he's and so then it's like he's putting himself in that role. But yeah, so it's really hard to say what would have been the best way to do this. And so I don't know. I will say, I know they haven't announced it yet as our recording, but I highly doubt we will get a halftime heat show this year because, as we all know, the new theme song for Raw was done by one Kendrick Lamar, and who is the halftime performer for this year's Super Bowl show, one Kendrick Lamar. So I highly doubt we will be getting a halftime heat of any kind in 2025 as well.
Now there you go.
There you go. So, So what do we got here? Aftermath a little bit here. Like we said, this Mankind winning the title back at this point. You then had a last man standing match, the St. Valentine's Day, or the In Your House St. Valentine's Day Massacre. There was no winner in that one, so Mankind retained. Then you had a ladder match for the championship, which The Rock won that one with the help of the Big Show. Then you had WrestleMania 15, where he defeated the Big Show, and then again at Backlash. That was a Boiler Room Brawl. That would have been this was 2000, so that was the first Boiler Room Brawl since 1996, of course. But that one a little bit easier. You just had to escape the Boiler Room, so a little bit different at that point. So The Rock, though, of course, he went on, like we had just said, like to take on one Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania 15 that March. So interesting how that played out. So a few write-ups on this one, kind of interesting here. Mankind 19, The Rock 5. Like you had said, the torch on this one, Vince hoped to bring new awareness to the WWF product through a Super Bowl halftime special and a 1.6 million second half commercial. The halftime heat featured Mankind defeating The Rock via the entire weekend, a widest viewed WWE match in cable history. The match did not receive critical praise, but the second half commercial has. The commercial has also received the ire of the American Family Association. The commercial features Austin, The Rock, Undertaker, Sable, and Mankind. They said the WWF doesn't contain violence or sex, and that wrestlers are good role models. Meanwhile, in the background, there was a lot of violence and sexual innuendo. The commercial was actually shot at Titan Tower headquarters, including a massive fight in one open lobby with people falling over the balcony. The commercial ended with Vince McMahon standing outside as a fireball shot out of a window of Titan Tower and a man plunged to the ground. McMahon smiled and said, "Get it?" ? So, it kind of trying to sell the Attitude Era there. The Observer newsletter on this one, whether one would consider the Rock Mankind title change taped in an empty arena in Tucson and airing during, so this was taped, okay, yeah, and airing during Super Bowl as a good match, or whether it was supposed to be, which was more like an 18-minute long movie fight scene. It was a rousing success from a rating standpoint, continuing for a promotion that has caught unbelievable fire. The 20-minute long counter programming segment drew a 6.59 rating and 9.3 share, making the single most watched WWF wrestling match from start to finish ever on cable. Some brief overrun segments have done better, and the highest rated television show on USA in 11 years. So, but from a metric standpoint, it was incredibly successful. No stars anywhere. So what are you going to give this one, though?
Man, I'm at a 4.
Okay.
I just didn't like it. I didn't like who they picked. I didn't like the way they booked it. I thought it was too goofy. I didn't think it helped grow the product. Everything I've already said. What about you?
Yeah. I'm just like, I'm going to do a 2.5. It didn't hit like you would want, and it was not, it was just The Rock really beating up on Mankind till the end, so it wasn't just as like great or crazy or anything like that. And so it was fine, but like you said, it just wasn't, oh my gosh, excuse me. So what are you going to do? So yeah, I'm just at a 2.5.
So yeah, I mean, I think it was an incredible opportunity. I mean, look how many people were watching it.
Yep, exactly.
So
yeah,
I mean,
it's just crazy numbers.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't do any harm, but I don't think it helped. So, all right, well, that was a good one. What do we got next week?
Where are we going next week? We're gonna throw back a little bit, of course, with the return of John Cena. We are going to do a number one contender match for the championship. This is No Way Out 2005. We got John Cena and Kurt Angle.
That'll be a good one.
I'm excited for that one. Yeah, it should be good. Nice 20-minute match, like something to look forward to. Kind of get us to the end of February here, and then we're going to be before we know it. We got Elimination Chamber, but we're going to be on the road before we know it here. So that's exciting.
Well, the road to WrestleMania seems like it's like 5 months now.
Anymore, yeah. You got the pregame. You just got to be ready for it at any time. Yep.
Yeah. Good. All right, man. Well, cool. I'm pumped to cover that one. This was fun, and we'll see everyone next week on an all-new episode of The Pack.